Deep in the heart of the Shadowmist forest, where ancient trees stretched their gnarled branches towards a sky perpetually shrouded in mist, lived a most unusual goblin named Nyx. Unlike his kin, who reveled in mischief and mayhem, Nyx was a gentle soul who abhorred violence. His emerald eyes, usually alight with curiosity, now reflected the worry that gnawed at his empty stomach. Nyx's small frame shivered as he peered out from his hiding spot in a hollow log. The forest floor was carpeted with fallen leaves, their earthy scent mingling with the damp air. In the distance, warm light flickered through the trees, beckoning weary travelers to the Whispering Pine Tavern. The tavern was a beacon of comfort in these wild woods. Its sturdy wooden walls and thatched roof promised shelter from the elements and the less savory denizens of the forest. For Nyx, however, it represented something else entirely: survival. As twilight deepened, Nyx's thoughts turned to the lean times that had driven him to this moment. The forest, once bountiful, had grown stingy with its gifts. Berries withered on the vine, and even the nimblest squirrels proved too quick for his grasp. Pride warred with necessity as Nyx contemplated his options. "I'm no thief," he muttered, his voice barely a whisper above the forest's nocturnal symphony. "But what choice do I have?" The goblin's fingers, long and dexterous, absent-mindedly toyed with a length of twine, one of the few possessions he could truly call his own. As he wove it between his fingers, an idea began to take shape in his mind. The Whispering Pine was more than just a tavern, it was a treasure trove of opportunity. Pockets heavy with coin, saddlebags bursting with supplies, and plates laden with food all ripe for the taking. Nyx's stomach growled its approval of this line of thinking. With a heavy sigh, Nyx made his decision. He would become what circumstances demanded: a thief in the night. But he swore a solemn oath to himself that he would harm no one in his quest for survival. As the last rays of sunlight retreated from the forest, Nyx emerged from his hiding place. His heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation as he crept towards the tavern. The cheerful sounds of laughter and clinking mugs grew louder with each careful step. Pausing at the edge of the clearing, Nyx took a deep breath. He ran through his plan one last time, his clever mind accounting for every detail. With a nod of determination, the little goblin melted into the shadows, ready to embark on his first true heist at the Whispering Pine Tavern. The Whispering Pine Tavern buzzed with activity as Nyx slipped through a crack in the weathered planks. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of ale, roasted meat, and wood smoke. Patrons from all walks of life filled the room: merchants, travelers, and local woodsfolk alike. Nyx's heart hammered in his chest as he crouched in the shadows beneath a table. His eyes, adapted to the darkness of the forest, blinked rapidly to adjust to the tavern's warm glow. As he surveyed the room, a smile crept across his face. So many pockets, so many opportunities. With the grace of a cat, Nyx began to weave between legs and chairs. His first mark was a portly merchant, whose coin purse hung tantalizingly from his belt. As the man raised his mug to his lips, Nyx's nimble fingers made quick work of the purse's strings. In a flash, the goblin was gone, leaving the merchant none the wiser. Emboldened by his success, Nyx set his sights on a traveler's pack leaning against the bar. He scurried beneath stools, timing his movements to the ebb and flow of conversation. Just as he reached for the pack's clasp, a barmaid's foot nearly crushed his fingers. Nyx barely stifled a yelp as he rolled away, disappearing beneath a nearby table. As the night wore on, Nyx's bag grew heavier with pilfered goods. A silver spoon here, a handful of dried fruit there, each item carefully chosen for its size and value. But it was the locket hanging from a dozing farmer's neck that truly caught his eye. The golden heart gleamed in the firelight, promising a windfall that could sustain Nyx for months. With bated breath, Nyx crept towards the sleeping man. His fingers trembled as he reached for the delicate chain. Just as he was about to unclasp it, a melodious voice cut through the tavern's din. "And now, dear friends, a song to lift your spirits." Nyx froze. A beautiful half-elven bard had taken center stage, her fingers dancing across the strings of a lute. As she began to sing, the entire tavern fell under her spell, including the farmer, who stirred from his slumber. Panicking, Nyx tugged at the locket. The chain snapped, and he tumbled backward, clutching his prize. But in his haste, he failed to notice the bard's keen eyes following his movement. Heart pounding, Nyx made a dash for the door. He squeezed through the same crack he'd entered, gulping in the cool night air. But as he paused to catch his breath, a sickening realization washed over him. In his panic, he'd dropped the locket. Nyx's mind raced. Should he go back for it? The risk was enormous, but so was the potential reward. As he debated, a shadow fell across him. He looked up to see the bard's silhouette in the tavern doorway, her eyes scanning the darkness. Without a second thought, Nyx plunged into the forest, leaving behind the golden locket and the warmth of the whispering pine. As he ran, the weight of his ill-gotten gains seemed to grow heavier with each step, and a new, unfamiliar feeling settled in his chest, something that felt suspiciously like guilt. Dawn broke over the shadowmist forest, painting the mist with hues of pink and gold. Nyx sat in his hollow log, staring dejectedly at his meager haul from the previous night. The excitement of the heist had faded, leaving behind a gnawing sense of shame. As he sorted through the stolen goods, a melodic voice drifted through the trees, growing closer. Nyx's ears perked up in recognition. It was the bard from the tavern. Panic seized him as he realized she was following his trail. "Little goblin," the bard called out, her voice gentle. "I know you're there. I've brought something that belongs to you." Curiosity overcame fear, and Nyx peeked out from his hiding place. There stood the half-elven bard, her copper hair catching the morning light. In her outstretched hand gleamed the golden locket. "I'm Aria," she said, smiling, "and I believe you dropped this in your haste last night." Nyx's eyes widened in disbelief. "You're giving it back to me." "But I stole it." Aria knelt down, bringing herself to Nyx's eye level. "I saw desperation in your actions, not malice. Tell me, little one, what drives a goblin to such lengths?" Hesitantly, Nyx emerged from his log. He recounted his struggles, the scarcity of food, and his refusal to resort to violence like other goblins. As he spoke, Aria listened intently, her expression softening with understanding. "Nyx," she said when he finished, "your heart is kind, even if your actions have been misguided. What if I told you there was another way?" Over the next few hours, Aria shared her own story, how she used her music and wit to help those in need throughout the forest. She spoke of secret caches of food meant for the hungry, and of how her performances often served as distractions for those escaping danger. As the sun climbed higher, an idea began to form between them. Nyx's clever tricks and Aria's music could be a powerful combination, not for theft, but for aiding the unfortunate souls of Shadowmist Forest. "Partners?" Aria asked, extending her hand. Nyx hesitated for a moment, then took it with a grin. "Partners." In the days that followed, the Whispering Pine Tavern buzzed with tales of a mysterious duo, an enchanting bard and a shadowy helper who seemed to appear whenever someone was in need. Coins would appear in empty pockets, food would find its way to the hungry, and somehow those fleeing danger always found safe passage through the woods. And if the patrons sometimes glimpsed a small, goblin-like figure darting between the tables during the bard's performances, well, that was surely just a trick of the light. As for Nyx, he had found more than just a friend in Aria. He had discovered a purpose, a way to use his skills for good. No longer did he need to steal to survive. Instead, he had become a silent guardian of the forest, proving that even the most unlikely creatures could become heroes in their own way. And the golden locket. It remained with Aria, a reminder of the night that changed both their lives forever. Thank you so very much for listening to this story. I thoroughly hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe, leave a like, and comment too. I hope to see you on the next adventure.